Meaning of baby in dream. When interpreting the imagery of a baby in a dream, start with the straightforward truth that a child may be a modern life. Inquire yourself what's modern with you: a relationship, a thought, a feeling, an advancement in your character or identity. A dream approximately finding a baby can symbolize finding something unused inside yourself, such as a burst of imagination or an unused wind in your sails. An upbeat baby is the image of pure bliss, which too could be a plausibility for the imagery. Do you feel cheerful and fair to be lively? Do you see the world with wonder and ponder? It's common to dream almost upbeat babies when in a groove, when life is dull, as a way of rediscovering the effortlessness of chuckling and laughs. For case, a man dreams approximately sparing a baby suffocating in a pool. It symbolizes endeavoring to keep the portion of himself alive, meaning conscious, that appreciates life but is suffocating in grown-up obligations. He's suffocating within the individual sense, and within the dream, his frantic endeavor to spare the infant appears how he feels approximately the plausibility of losing his joy. Individuals are known to dream around babies, especially crying ones, about caring for fundamental needs: sustenance, consolation, security, warmth, and so on. A crying or ignored baby sums up the thought and the sentiments included. Inquire yourself why the dream storyteller would select a baby as imagery over a child. One way to see it is that a child is poor, but the child is powerless. In a squeeze, a child can figure out how to outlive, but a baby can't. A baby is defenseless, and in dreams, a baby cleared out alone or dismissed can symbolize being in a powerless state. It suggests they have to make a secure and stable space to live in or a fundamental schedule of care and consideration. Most dream characters interface along with your inward life. A defenseless child might symbolize a got to ensure yourself emotionally and mentally. If you don't pay attention to yourself, who will? If you don't do it, something else might step in and take over your life. To be specific, a prime example such as Shadow or Anima. A dream can express this thought as an awful individual holding a child captive. Capturing a baby can have a comparable meaning of powerlessness against something much more capable. At its least difficult, it implies something vital is being taken, and what's more imperative than your freedom and freedom? A baby can symbolize a sense of being entitled to have somebody else pay attention to your needs. Fastidious babies, pacifiers, and tall chairs are great images of childish fastidiousness or privilege. In case you dream approximately your fastidious associate with a pacifier in his or her mouth. The imagery is rather obvious. But what if the co-worker has a fastidious child with her at work? It's not so self-evident that the dream is still a perception approximately the individual. The child sticks out in that setting, so it must be imagery unless you have an associate who brings his or her baby to work. For ladies who can bear children, the primary thought after imagining almost having a child is regularly, goodness, shit, does this cruel I'm pregnant? It's possible, yes, but less likely than pregnancy being imagery. For illustration, a youthful lady dreams that she gives birth and promptly realizes she doesn't have time to care for her infant. Her work plan won't permit it, which is true. Her work at a fast food put doesn't incorporate maternity takeoff. After considering the circumstances, she puts the infant in a carrier sack and leaves it behind at her workplace, symbolizing putting off having a child until she encompasses work that permits it. Keeping her work is her number one need. Her desire to have a child is behind it in the figurative sense. Putting the infant in a carrier sack may be a way of saying she's putting off satisfying her want till the future. If the thought of having a baby has been on your mind, it's likely to be expressed in your dreams. Dreaming about a baby can be a way of saying you'll begin planning. You can find the proper work, mate, or living circumstance. You'll be able to prepare your body, spare money, and get maternity scope. Your response amid the dream appears how you are feeling around the thought of having a child. Individuals who accept they don't need children, swearing it'll never happen, are known to alter their minds after holding their dream infant in their arms. It's a fantastically practical involvement that requests a legitimate reaction. They feel, scent, and listen to their child and indeed know its title. At that point once more, dreams can confirm a person's choice to not have children. Dreams can address decisions parents make almost having more children. For illustration, a mother dreams of approximately 3 dead fetuses connected by a string dropping out of her uterus while riding on the back of her husband's cruiser. The fetuses symbolize children she can't have, presently that her tubes are tied. She hoped to have more children, but her spouse didn't need to and he influenced her to have the method done. The dream appears on the back of his bike since he controlled the choice to form beyond any doubt she'd never once more get pregnant. Parents dream about the care of their children and the duties of parenthood. It's especially common for parents of youthful children to have uneasy dreams, regularly including scenes of their children harmed or in peril. It's as a rule fair and overstated reflection of a parent's perseverance and concerns. It's conceivable to dream almost the children you're aiming to have. Thousands of reports are on record of moms and fathers seeing their future in children in dreams, some of the time a long time previously. In one case, a lady imagined around the children she seems to have had. She had 3 premature deliveries, but in her dreams, the children are lively and well and a joyous part of her life. Maybe they are lively someplace out there within the big universe. It's not such an interesting thought after you consider that each plausibility exists within the quantum world. Grim dreams including babies harmed or slaughtered can interface with fears, tensions, passionate turmoil, and tricky life conditions. Don't take it actually once you have such a dream, but do take it as a sign that something truly should alter. In most cases, it's a sign that the profoundly delicate and helpless parts of yourself are going through the meat processor. Babies are juvenile, and the thought of adolescence expands past behavior to cruel and immature. Within the picture of the child in your dream, you see something that will develop and create if you put the time into it.